Hello my dear friends, this is a PaintyKat, my name is Catherine. Today we're going to paint Mediterranean landscape with acrylic. If you like to paint, don't forget to subscribe my channel. This is some paintings I find for you for inspiration and also want to share to you those materials I used and probably you will need to create this painting. This is a demonstration version of tutorial real-time you can find on my Patreon with a really detailed comments, real-time going for 2 hours, and it have 5 parts. First part, it's a background and we will start with the sky, of course. Size here is important. I actually, for all beginners, and if you want to try something new, for example, before you've been painting just landscapes or portraits and at one day you want to try landscape, I really recommend to you go first for small size. This one, it's 1824 canvas on board and it's a fine because we're gonna go for detailing, especially on the foreground, and even on a small size you can paint all main details, values, colorful accents, everything you will need to know. And if you can paint with a confidence this size, you can go for bigger one for better detailing, but of course big paintings taking much more time compared to these smalls. Today I'm planning to paint without traceables, no sketch, nothing, but for you, if you need to, I prepare for you a traceable. You can find it on my Patreon and it's 2 sizes available. First, it's the same as I have today, and another one, more popular, letter size, it's A4. Easy to print, just transfer and let's go. First, it's a sky. If you ever had any issues with the blending, try again small size, because look how easy it's going. It's just 1 minute taking. You can add another color, maybe more blue, just blend it, really easy. Sometimes I know we had an issue, acrylic drying fast, but again, at this size you will understand acrylic can be blended easily, very beautiful, because here, small area, you have time to spread colors softly. For clouds here, I recommend to put a tiny little bit of yellow, because Mediterranean area usually have really bright, really warm sun, and if you wanna create this feeling, try to avoid cold light, I mean just a white as a lightning. Try to add a tiny bit of yellow into it, or maybe a combination of a yellow and a vermilion, let's say orangey. This way you will give a tiny warm touch to each light spot on your landscape, really helping. As the shadows, I choose violet, and all colors I used, it's really small numbers, by the way, you can find on the left side of this video. Next, if we're talking about a small size, kind of important to choose a proper shape of your brushes, because actually brushes taking the whole work on themselves, and for the hill on a background I really recommend flat brush. Edge here have to be not sharp. Sometimes, you know, we have brushes flat, but edge is thick enough. This brush I have from my set of different shaped brushes. I like it. And when you will go with not just a long brush strokes, if you will try to make like a print from your brush, this way the edge of your hill will look really natural. It will look like it's a forest there, lots of different shaped trees, really beautiful. But again, you're not painting tree by tree, you know, very detailed with a tiny brush, nothing like that. Going fast, isn't it? As soon as you're ready imagined, let's say planned shape of the hill. Let's create mounts really far, so color there are gonna be like blue, maybe a little bit of violet into it, but be careful, it's not just a flat wall, not a paper, right, not painting on a paper far there. So top part of the mounts I recommend to paint with a bit darker color, but if you're going down, if you wanna create a coastline, there you have to put a lighter accent, let's say maybe a light sand color. It's possible to mix here, what do we have, yellow, a little bit of red and white, and that's it, and you have a sand color. Spread it gently. You already can see a difference between dark peaks there and a really bright coastline. Sea area here, of course I recommend bright, beautiful, clear colors. Type of the brushes here, I personally like flat slanted brushes. I use it a lot. I have many numbers, maybe 4 or 5 here. Most used it's 0 and number 2. Tiny, but really giving a nice control. I like to start with celestial blue, very far for the sea area, and blend it a little bit with a cobalt blue, then go for full cobalt blue. Add a tiny bit of green, nice if you have emerald green, but if you have no any extra shades in your palette, that's nice just to mix. Tiny bit of sap green, it's already giving a nice touch of emerald to the water. As soon as you already planned those mounds far and bit of sea area, you able to complete shape of the hill. I recommend to go with a really dark green here. No black in a palette, so what are we gonna do? It's kinda easy here because the darkest color after the green it's violet. Deep here, try to mix violet and green and just try what it's giving. A really dark and beautiful green, perfect for future forest here because it's giving a nice control. Next, with another type of brush, it's a Daler-Rowney number 5. Really rough. It's a natural Bristol. Again, no any long brush strokes. Try just touch gently your canvas with a brush and you will see each touch will give you a view of a tree, really a tree crown, really beautiful but easy, still easy. And about cypresses, it's a type of trees kind of common in Mediterranean area. Light forest around will give you enough contrast for these beautiful trees. And let's go to the part 2. Here I'm planning to paint a city, small city. First, I recommend to you plan area for future group of buildings here. Line can be half round as I did, can be flat, it can be shorter or longer, all depends on your own taste. Let it be maybe as a half of this painting from the left side, and don't care right now too much about promenade shape, about light, shadows, all this you will be able to add later. The most important now to understand what type of brush you need for buildings. How it looks like. It's looking flat, isn't it? It's usually square shaped, so type of the brush have to be similar. Look, round brushes for flowers and trees. It's already even looking similar. For architecture, like buildings, cute small houses, I really like flat brushes, and for roofs, slanted brushes are the best. I like when all houses looking different. It's really giving a feeling like it's an old town. Try to paint unique, something unique for each of them. First of all, I recommend to you plan basic shapes and try to paint it randomly, bigger or smaller sometimes. Color. Right now, don't care much about color. It have to be kinda natural. I mixed yellow, violet deep and white here. Don't forget about roofs and side walls, because it's not just a flat paper wall, right? Sometimes some buildings, if it's a turned side to you, you have to paint two sides, front one and a side one. That's important. And as soon as a basic shape completed, let it dry, because later it's possible to add a color with a glazing technique. Let's complete sea area. Colors here. Well, I already have here nicely looking celestial blue area. So next I'd like to see more deep cobalt blue, little tiny bit of green, and foreground going with a really deep violet color. Don't care much about it right now. Important to have it dark enough for the best contrast on the foreground area. About waves. I had opportunity once visit this area in a real, and I can tell you waves not typical detail here, because usually cities like this have break water. It's a special like a stone fence that saving area around a city. Harbors inside usually really calm, no any big waves. So here it can be just a flat blended colors. I recommend to use skip blue under the city, because here you're gonna paint a reflection. I recommend go with a dark green first, because look, you already have a green hill around the city, so yes, you will have some reflection from it. And also it's just so easy to paint lighter details on top of the dark underpainting layer. I believe city already dried enough, yes, so you will be able to glaze on top. Here, everything all up to you. You know, stripes here can be blue, it can be yellow or red, can be brick color. Brick color, English red, let's say. This shade can be mixed from the vermilion red plus a little bit of yellow and a tiny bit of violet. Just try it. You know, your palette, it's an area where you're making experiments with the colors. And of course, I recommend start with a small numbers of colors, and later, if you're already feeling confident enough with this amount, you can add maybe some unique shades. While you glazing, skip white in the mixes. If you need a lighter color, just put an extra water. Let's see, I added some yellow, some orange stripes and the red ones. It's still a little bit wet, but it's possible to paint windows already. About windows and the doors. Don't skip this part. You know, some students I have sometimes painting similar landscapes, and a couple of times I noticed city can have lots of windows, different shapes, looking really beautiful, but no any single door. This detail just sliding away from attention, and it's looking really strange. So if you're adding windows, yes, some doors have to be as well. Color. Color for windows and doors. The most important, it's not contrasted. Don't paint it with black. It can be light violet, can be light blue because of reflections of the sky and the sea. And also don't paint really regular and pointy looking windows there. It's just not possible in this size. Next, it's a reflection, very easy. It's going with a flat brush again. Just go down with your brush, with a flat brush. Start from the promenade line and go down a little bit. Just reflect a similar value compared building you wanna reflect. If it's a wide wall, your brush stroke that going down and reflecting have to be wide the same. Next part here, it's a vase on a foreground. Of course, not just a vase, it's gonna be flowers and some plants. I'm painting without any sketch. You can transfer this vase if you need to, but I just wanna demonstrate how it's usually going for me. First, I'm trying to imagine those spots where I want to place it, where I want to create it, and don't be scared to make some mistakes. Later, probably, you will need to move this line, this balcony line, a little bit more closer to the bottom line. It's possible to do by the another color, which is blue. It's a color of a round area, and you can reserve those white balcony you still need, and you can cover those part of the balcony you don't need anymore. You just cover it with a blue. Acrylic have a nice coverage, especially dark colors, and it's really easy to control shapes. Scary moment here, it's color of the sea. Sometimes you may think like I'm not able to mix absolutely the same color of the sea, right? So how I'm gonna reserve or how I'm gonna fix shape of the vase of the balcony. You don't have to mix absolutely the same color. Can be darker, can be more violet. Just blend it softly. Blend it with a flat brush, for example, and you will see this new blue color sitting really well with a previous layers like this. And I'm just blending softly, that's it. This way, let's see. You can change all the details you have on your painting. It's very important to keep it in mind, because I know this fear of mistakes, it's fear to make something wrong. It's just a learning process. If you don't like anything, just cover it on top. Next part here, it's leaves and flowers. Vase completed, and it's got some stalker decoration. And for everyone who want to join me on a real-time tutorial where we are creating this decoration step by step. Here it's a small size, so important to move from the general to specific, and even if you're working on a tiny decorations, you have to paint it more in general, really in a big shapes. It's not possible to create those tiny fruits or something like that popular to decorate vases like this. About green leaves, first I like to go with the dark mixes, like a green plus violet again. We're really short on colors, so if you wanna create something deep and green looking, it's only one way. Plus violet deep, really easy to remember, isn't it? And later for future landscapes, for sure you will use this mix much more. That's why I actually recommend to start with a small kit, maybe 10 or 12 acrylic colors, because this way you will easily remember, you will learn and remember for a long time those combinations that giving a beautiful colors for forest, for sea area, right, for flowers, for example. Shapes of the brushes. I like to have a different looking brush strokes. It's giving really rich and beautiful view of this garden. Let's imagine it's maybe an old garden, right? So palm leaf, brush perfect for it. If you haven't this type of the brush, possible to use just a number 1, for example, brush number 1. If it's a small tree, it can be again those rough brushes, natural Bristol. Try to get a shape first with a dark green color. Next, it's a plus yellow plus white and a green, of course, and just put this middle color on top. Don't forget about tiny twigs and branches. And for all foreground line, just add green leaves with different shapes. Leaves can be bigger, can be smaller. Just try to paint it randomly. And a last layer, we go here with a layering. Each brush stroke means 1 leaf. So if you want to create fluffy looking tree crown with a nice value, you have to layer and layer and layer many leaves on top. Be careful with a light accents here. Almost no green in a mix. Mostly it's a yellow and white. Why it's a yellow I already explained you before, because sun here really warm. So if you want to create sunny day, you have to put this yellow in each spot of the lights everywhere. If it's a trees, if it's sunflowers, if it's a clouds and walls of a city. Oh, my favorite part, honestly, is flowers on top, and it's those details why I like these Mediterranean landscapes. Sadly, it's going as a last step for these paintings. Personally, I'd like to start with it. It's just not possible. So yeah, it's a last step, and here all colors you like. Can be violet, can be purple, light pink, dark pink, can be red or yellow, orange. All flowers can be here. Shapes, again, try to be random. Some flowers can be small, like a tiny dots, really gentle, right? Some flowers can be bigger, maybe peony, maybe roses. Oh, roses can be huge, really. I like to paint roses here, for example, on the left corner, right? Brush. It's flat oval brush number 2 from set of flat oval brushes. And just try to use this brush, because if you will take pointy brush, it's giving a different brush stroke, not looking as a petal. Next part here, the last one, and even if everything already here, it's kinda important to take a common look on your result you have right now in front of you on your table or an easel, and you need to analyze if everything looking balanced enough. For me, for example, right now I have a vase already on the foreground, so I believe an extra light on top of the roofs will look more beautiful and will give more sunny view to the city. Also, I put it some sunny touch, those bright yellow on walls. Also, right now I think this small tree needs more lights on top. Some colors looking a bit darker after it's dried. If it's happened, just put an extra light yellows. Another part here, it's a vase compared to the city on a middle ground. It's looking now too cold tone, so I decided to put a glazing layer on top with a light orange. It's a mix with yellow and red together. Really a liquid, like ink. With no white in it. It's important, and this way possible to give again a touch of warm sun on top. I didn't change any details on the vase, it's just a glazing with a color and a final touch to clouds again to put some light accents. My dear friends, my painting done. I really hope you enjoyed it. Paintings on a small canvases can be same beautiful as big ones, and I just hope you will try that. I will be really happy to see your paintings. Welcome on my Instagram and just share it to me. #PaintyKat. I wish you all the best. Thank you very much for joining me today. And I'll catch you on my next tutorials. Bye bye.